So I recently bought and played Brotato, and I must say that I am pleasantly surprised. Because one of the first thoughts I had when I started playing a round of this game was that Brotato was a game inspired by something like 20 minutes till dawn but with different graphics. But to tell you the truth, after having played a couple rounds of Brotato, I actually prefer Brotato over 20 minutes till dawn or other games in the same genre. So what is it that makes a simple and cheap game like Brotato good, and is it a game worth spending a lot of time on? Sit tight and let's find out. To give you a quick rundown of what kind of game Brotato is, it's best described as an action roguelike where you play as a potato that, if you ask me, looks more like an egg, but I could be wrong. Your one goal in Brotato is complete a game consisting of 20 rounds, and you do this by surviving for a certain amount of time without dying. But it wouldn't be a very good game without any challenges, so there are at every round enemies to kill so that they don't kill you. Now, the actual design of these enemies are interesting to say the least. I can't really say what they are other than some sort of alien that gradually evolves throughout the game. And these aliens can attack you in different ways, like running into you, shooting at you, dashing at you, or summon attacks from the ground. Along with a change of appearance, the aliens have a pretty wide range of designs and abilities, meaning that you are seeing something new almost every single round. And the game ends off with a boss fight, which are always appreciated, especially by me. So the way you actually defeat the enemies are by using different weapons that you can buy and collect throughout the round and after. And there are a lot of weapons in this game, each with their own set of stats. So let's go through some of them. You got your classic melee weapons like knives, sticks, fists, cacti club and wrench. Then there are also ranged weapons like pistols, shotguns, slingshots, tasers, SMGs and more. For magical weapons you got stuff like fireballs, wands, icicles, and I think you get the idea. But what I think is way cooler than having a lot of weapons to choose from is being able to use 6 weapons at a time. So there are a world of different weapon combinations to make, and you won't ever run short of them either, because you have the ability to buy new weapons before the start of each round. And to avoid boring and repetitive stuff like duplicates, you can combine 2 weapons together and make it stronger if they are the same type and level. Which leads me into the next mechanic, which is the rarity system. Almost all of the items and upgrades in the game have a certain rarity whenever they are presented to you. The different rarities are pretty simple to follow if you are familiar with colors. What I mean by this is the worst color an item or upgrade can have is gray, and then it progressively changes to blue, purple and yellow, so it's pretty easy to follow. And it's this rarity that changes whenever you combine 2 items or weapons together. And I won't even go into all of the items that are in the game, but I will say that I can best relate it to the number of items that are in the Binding of Isaac. So if you have ever played the Binding of Isaac, then you know how many items that I'm talking about. But a thing that I can actually say is better in Brotato than in the Binding of Isaac is the full rundown of each stat Brotato shows to the player whenever they pause the game or are in the shop menu. This is for me as an individual just a gold mine. I love that I at all times have the ability to look at all of my stats and make strategies that will determine which types of items I will choose for the upcoming round. Another reason why the stats menu is a great thing to have, and also probably the reason why the developer added it in the first place, is because some items directly change some stats, usually depending on other main stats like speed, damage, dodge, luck, engineering and more. And on the topic of the engineering stat, you also get the chance to buy support structures like turrets and healing bots, where the engineering stat directly makes those structures stronger. But all of these combinations and opportunities you can make with the items and weapons in the game, it wouldn't be fun if you could only use the same character, which is why you have a staggering 48 characters to choose from. Now, a thing to keep in mind is that you start with only one character, which means that you have to unlock the rest of them by beating challenges, which I will talk about in a minute. But each character is different both in appearance and main stats, making some of them easy and balanced to use and others more chaotic and difficult, because they might have some crazy main stats that really aims towards a certain weapon type, or they might only have access to a specific type of weapons, like melee, ranged or magical. But one thing is certain, that you will experience a lot of different games with a wide range of difficulties when playing around with all of the different characters. Now, to come back to my talk about achievements or challenges, depending on what you want to call them, they function as the progress bar for everything in the game, from unlocking new difficulties to characters and items. And because of their simplicity, it's fun and easy to go for them, and it's also always good to have a permanent progress bar to look back on if you think there aren't anything left to do in the game. And it's also a great thing for an achievement hunter like myself. Another thing that I really focus on when playing a video game is the music, and I think that Brotato's soundtrack is overall fine, but it's lacking something. It might just be me, but I would have loved some sort of boss theme when I made it to round 20 instead of one of the normal tracks. And don't get me wrong, I respect anyone with the ability to compose any type of music. But with all of that said, I still think the soundtrack of Brotato is pretty spot on in terms of genre, speed and mood. And to be honest, I got some pretty heavy rounds vibes the first time I heard the soundtrack. At the start of the video I mentioned the alien and after the character designs, but my opinion on the game design as a whole is that it's simple, recognizable and easy on the eyes. By simple looking I mean just look at it. And again, I also have a ton of respect for anyone that can make a good looking sprite no matter the art style they have decided to use. But I think that this simple art style is what makes the game unique and recognizable, which is always great if you're looking to attract the most amount of players to your game. And as a little bonus that usually comes with having a simple looking and playing game is that it doesn't take up a lot of storage space on any type of computer. So I would argue that you can play Brotato on almost any type of device, but don't hold me up on that. And all of these things, like being able to play Brotato on almost any device, makes it a game you know that you can always just play also for a short amount of time. Because you can usually complete a round on the normal difficulty in less than 30 minutes. So if you have a bit of spare time to play a game but not multiple hours, then it's nice to have a short game like Brotato that you can just play alone or in a call with someone, because it's so simple. And because you only need to use the WASD keys in order to play. Now for a thing that I haven't personally tested out but always appreciate, which is extra content either in the form of mods or DLC. But because I haven't experimented with either one of the two, I wouldn't give an opinion on them, which I hope that you can understand. Another thing that I will just quickly mention is the co-op in Brotato. Like many other games where you have the ability to play co-op, you can either play online co-op through something like Steam Play or play with a person sitting next to you like normal co-op. But again, I haven't yet tested this out, so I can't really give my opinion on it. But trust me, if I ever do another video covering Brotato, I will have experienced all of the major stuff in the game. So with everything I have given my opinion on, is Brotato a game that is worth spending money on and playing? Yes. I think that this is not a very surprising answer considering all of the mechanics I've praised throughout the video. So if you like this type of action roguelike where you can just kinda turn your brain off and let 30 minutes pass, then I would say that Brotato is worth spending the €3 you pay for it. And it's €3 for the base game, not the game and the DLCs. And if you're just in dire need for a new game, but you don't have something like €40 to spend on a AAA title, then I would also consider buying Brotato. So if I have missed anything or forgotten to mention something in this video, then by all means leave a comment about it down below. Remember to leave a like and a sub, and until we meet again, bye bye.